Good afternoon. Whatever it is, wherever you are. Let's see. What was our timestamp we were using? This is our temporary data. Probably that one. And of course, who knows where that was. 8319484. It was out there. I don't remember. I mean, probably as good a place as any. And actually, this is mostly zoomed out stuff anyway. I don't think I've actually reloaded this, yeah. Since we did that. So that's where we were the other day. Points might be a little bit small for this zoom level, is one of the things we were looking at. And I think what we want to do is add some kind of like constant base. So that's a strict 5 divided by. I mean, that's also going to have an effect on the other stuff. All right, so for what I'm trying to do right now, I actually don't want this to default on. And that might also be happening from map UI, or maybe I can overlay that, or override that from map UI. So it's actually that's interesting. Model, initial model. Do we track that here? I know I can interact with it here. Activity map visible. But do we send that on load up? No. Okay, into the initial model, we do point color, anim overlay, animated, highlight objects. This is probably leaflet. Oh, this must be a generic overlay thing. Layer status. Monuments activity map. Model.activity map visible. Did I also use that for biomes? No. Oh, maybe biomes was, yeah, because that's not reflected in the format page. So that's not here. Okay. I know earlier on I was doing an initial search. Highlight objects command model. Highlighted objects. That just means I have to look up the IDs. Oh, highlight objects is actually selected matching objects. I guess we put this into the locked set essentially. I don't have good visibility in that. I'd say, and is there? I mean, actually, that search term would work, but this is probably all, or just about all. Delivery truck, which is something we can probably just look up. That is just the slot invis one. Four, 6, 5, 4. Zero locked. Oh, maybe I didn't recompile yet. No. Oh, nope. Well, these might actually have been running in IDs rather than strings. You know what? You need to be not as tall. Okay. One locked. There, it's visible. Okay, cool. There's gonna be lots of plus ones. Maybe, I'm surprised it hasn't had a bigger effect. Okay, but now this is going to be huge when we zoom in. Completely off the charts. Okay, so that's actually not a good way to scale that. What are we doing in here? Cell size is probably 256. Is that the point size is changing? No, chords.z is changing. So this is in world units. So as we go from, I guess some really small tiles could actually be in the smaller end. As we get really zoomed in, we might be getting down around here. That's still like approaching 5. So why does not like adding like 1 help? Or am I doing things beyond just, no, just the plus and minus. That's just what it is. Wait, cell size is 0. Well, yeah, a fraction of a cell? What was that number? Oh, that's the number of pixels that one cell is. On the map. And we're doing a POW on that. Because if it was just X, it would be linear. We're cutting that back down. And we're actually inverting it. So I would think that that would have a substantial visible effect at that scale. Maybe this, I'm having a weird priority issue. Yeah, it's still tiny. What is going on? I'm trying to make these points show up better at high distance. While staying not too large at smaller distance. See, does this? No, that did make them too large. That would make them much larger when they're smaller. I guess since that's a division, they're actually going much larger if we get... as cell size increases, as cell size... Wait, no, cell size was getting very, very... As cell size gets very, very large... Or we're referencing the pixel size that would be. So it is the inverse of that. How does this work? Makes it closer to linear. Is that good or bad? That makes it spikier. Well, that makes it a different kind of spikier. Okay, that makes it small. Okay, but does this then get too big? That's more than one tile. It'd probably have issues when we're on an edge, which you can kind of see there. So, because this becomes a really, really small number. So maybe what we need to do is make u plus 1. Okay, this was still here. Maybe more than plus 1. That did not have a desired effect. No, I just get small, that gets small. Oh. But it's getting very, very... that makes it... Ooh. That actually has interesting effects at the zero cross. So that moves it out in X. It's kind of a surprising result. I guess I understood math better. That would just make everything bigger. Then we shift it over, but it doesn't do a lot in the long tail, which is where we're having problems. But that lifts everything equally. So what if we just made this a constant and figured out what size looked good? Because it's not that. Is this affected by this? Oh, maybe I'm... Oh, I must be doing some scale... Yep, scale by cell size. Which means, do I have to do... That might not be enough to undo it. Okay, that's still big down there. A constant portion... Surely that's going to be too... that's something all right. Yeah, it's kind of not the right direction. So we're scaling everything down. No, cell size is very, very small. You might be divided again? That's too big. So this was a factor of cell size. Maybe you have a constant offset? No, that's worse. So an actually constant size. No, that's still scaling. Actually getting kind of overblown. Oh no, you'd be like 1 over, which probably actually where I started getting to that 5 over. So that is constantly small. That's prone to cutoffs, which might be part of the issue. Looks like it kind of is this. Right, because that's approaching what it is at 1, yeah, so we get the cutoffs. That leaves it smaller down here, doesn't it? Yeah. I guess at that zoom level, it's still pretty small. So still shrinking. Maybe a little bit more visible at constant size. And this has never done overage. Well, this is on the base object data, which doesn't have enough overage is the issue. Okay. Do I have a source? No, let's see the project. Oh yeah, this is all development stuff. Which I might be able to just not check that in for a bit. So the front end stuff, they'll kind of touch on jump. Might get into that. Maybe I should review that first. Inst object point size. All right, how much stuff did we end up sharing here? Okay, get tile, slightly different loads. You got a, yeah, you were fetching two things, so you got two results. I think there can be commands that just move the window, but I so rarely need them. Point northeast, point northeast, which, yeah, if I change that one to get that in, then that wraps. That's all the same. So we've got this extra thing in here, which that could just be considered moved. Probably differs in where it gets used in the two things. Wait, didn't I extract this? Or are you a different? Oh no, this is log. I need tile key. That probably is going to have some similarity. Which is already telling us that we already do have quite a lot of similarity. Yeah, okay, so there's placements, then you do special and stuff. Which is using the ranges. Right bottom in size. Wait, is that filter is more or less down here? Doing the concat. It's slightly smaller. It's a different size filter, or just different wrap. A little bit of different wrap. But once again, we have range. Yeah, so we're using that here. We're using it there. We're using start there. Of course, at one point I was wondering if there was a way to make changes to make this code common. There's definitely significant overlap. Yeah, they both need start. You do some key construction that we don't need over there. Calculating occupied. Which, I mean, we could do another pass if we needed to. Placement.key, so we do continue using that. Okay, so mark tile key, mark search. We still... Right, because the time these are at don't matter as much. There's like big blocks of reused stuff here. I'm not quite sure where to extract it though. Okay, now that's not... Tile size not used till somewhere else. We get those bones, we have start, we have end. That might be the only place we use the points themselves. We have start, end, then we have the padding to get the right and the bottom. That needs start. That needs start. That needs start and end. The thing is, I don't know that I can easily pull, like, this. You could use it as a filter function, but it depends on the context of the range. I guess I could have a function that took all that stuff as arguments and then gave you a closured function for those bounds. Maybe the way to extract that is to have something that gives you an object of closures given the bound information? Sort of like gives you bound data. Okay, so this is a function, but this is going to be a bit more specific to each individual step. One of the filters, well, place.msstart, generation.datatime. Start end. It would almost have to have like a families of functions that encompass all of the things we want to do within those bounds. And you only call certain functions for certain uses. Also, occupied is probably kind of, yeah, occupied is getting used all throughout this process. And there's more bound stuff. That's just a for loop. I could have something that calculates all of the bounds. It would end up calculating it into a data structure, and then you'd have all the structure dereferences on the variables, some of which are being used in a loop. I guess you could still get the calculation. It's just getting dark. I guess it's pretty gloomy out there. Yeah, it's just kind of gloomy. It's not officially actually dusk time yet. I mean, maybe snow is incoming. I haven't really been paying attention because I don't go outside a whole lot. Oh, yeah. Well, officially it's light snow. Well, maybe I can actually see some on the roof over there. And the forecast is rain. We're like just under freezing. So it's basically icky. Foggy and snowy. Well, sunny and warm is good, I guess. Hey, Liger. I could boot this to a later refactoring project, although I'm about to make yet another copy of it, of sorts. How close is that? Thank you. I should probably actually make that a no redemption one. Or a no checkpoint one, because it's really just supposed to be a reminder. And I do have the alarm set up, so hopefully I won't miss it. All right, so tile log. That's the two-part one. Off by one again. Start X, start Y. You also do your stuff up here, which I guess there wouldn't be too much harm in moving it up. I just didn't need it here before. Start X, calculating key. You're doing your decode inline. And then going straight into this filter function, which is probably about the same. Is valid in frame. And we sort differently. So that function could be made to just have the parameters for what the frame is. Those parameters are pretty much all the same. Yeah, just different spacing. Times tile size, times tile size. This is doing a modify in place, which if I did a cache decode on that, oh, does this one actually use the chords for more debugging? Nope, that one's still debugging too. Now are you? So that's basically the other thing, which is already pre-decoded. You were getting text. So this was set up, tile log, with a map log cache, which is a tile data cache. The parity of that would be something like the key data cache? Yeah, that's why it got renamed, because we did a custom version that just does this decoder on it. There's a tile index cache. So maybe all of the places that are tile data cache. And I almost want to do this more of as an in-place. Here's your transform function. There's the source index cache, indexed. Map log cache is what? Probably one of the only things that's using that directly anymore. Index tile, parse tile index. Do we have any other map log specific stuff here? Variations of tile data cache. Search index. Yeah, I've got all our decoders here. And we go into those. Oop. Map log. There's that master map log cache. No, it's tile log that was doing that. And that was using decode log value XYT. Okay, so this would become like raw placements again. We had them not do this in place, though, that we learned from the other one. Oh, this was going in line. XY ID, floor, all of that would be carryover. These... Our decoder is probably giving us a time value. We were adding key, we were offsetting X and Y. You were not calculating occupied. And then you get text instead, raw placements instead of text. We could skip that. We would skip that if... Well, it should be an array, right? We're not close enough to use one of those layers. Yep, and there's all the problems. Raw placements.map. Oh, because we have not used change where we use this. T is not defined. Oh, you... Right, because this is raw.t. That was built into the data. We are technically doing more stuff now and making a new object, which could be worse. Okay, that's just missing data. We were right at the end of a period, weren't we? Why did it select this range? Was I right at the edge of a reset? And 6. Oh, maybe that goes into the period it selected. This, at the default selection period. So I guess I only need this to work for some time period. Okay, so this was 1218, 1324. That is still there, but this is... Oh, yeah, this is completely different. So somewhere around there. Ooh. Is that... Okay, that's when this place developed. Oh, yep. Shoop. So we still have a 404 problem. I'm not sure that's going to be easily solvable. Because I don't really have an index for these map logs, because we're relying on the key placement index, which includes things that aren't necessarily here. Eight three one nine 484. Just make sure I'm arranged there. Okay, so that seems to have not broken this. Maybe it's a little bit less performant, but we can cache processed data. And that generally makes the structure a little bit more like the other things. Not enough to reuse that because the time value is different. Now you go straight into that filter function. To extract all of this coordinate stuff. I have a function that calculated that we pull out the things we need. We could, let's see, you're going to use that a lot. You're going to use that a lot, but that would be with the embedded function. So that would take care of map log. You would need the start for processing. You need start and end. Now this is a little filter function. So you could set it up just to return that. And then this is a straight up for loop within those bounds. Which I guess, if we had the bounds... Could we have a function that ran over those bounds? I would end up calling something for every spot. We'd still have to get the start and the x out. Although we could pass world x. We have x and y and world x and world y. So we're taking our placements, we're making them tile relative. Our search index didn't need the key, so that's not going to be shared. This is a little bit of custom processing. What would this be? This would be... Given coords and tile size. We calculate all that stuff. We'd have to pull several of the fields back out for local reference. We'd have those. We'd have some interesting little closures. All right, so tile key. All right, so tile key is there. We had log at 20,000. We had search, going to be even lower. So you're currently the highest up of these. Oop, nope, don't have one for T. What's up here? All our decode functions. What is this? Tile bounds? For chords. And we need at least the tile size from generation. Generation.placements. Oh, this filter function depends on data time as well. You don't depend on anything. Well, your option's not generation. You don't depend on anything else. So that's a bound function, but it's also a data time function. I guess that, it could be like a double closure. Well, maybe we do one step at a time. No, you are equal to a function which returns so you're going to have all of this stuff for yourself. Chords, 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 and you're going to have to, the only thing is we're going to have to return it all. And then pull it back out. Thinking about how it's used, maybe we could do this at the direct calculation for some of these, but then we want to closure them for ourselves as well. So that one's curious because it uses, we could get 4 of them there, but we'd have to pass in data time. Let's see, do we need, yeah, we do use padding. Directly for some of our bounds. And I'm basically going to have to say padding x equals padding x, so I guess it avoids some redundancy. In how big it is, but there's always a question of, well, could these things end up varying independently? No, you're up and down, because those could be different. And then the thing that seems to be common to all of these is in frame. Placement ID is valid in frame. There's local copies of all those. All right, syntax check. And ultimately, we're interested more at this scale. Let's see, we only needed that reference there because of all of these, I think. This actually is going to be kind of a calculation. Calculate tile bounds for this tile at generation.tile size. And that should knock out... I mean, I'll still have to pull out some of these things. Just to even start seeing if that... I guess I could run it and see if nothing crashed. Okay. Oh, but that was our visibility on object data, which apparently nothing is in bounds. Yeah, that seems to be a little bit of a problem. Okay. Those don't seem completely out of line. Negative 5728, 57, 7. Wait, did I get start and end backwards? And that would be appropriate for that. That's both the end coordinates. Yeah, end x, 720, negative 65. Was I using tile size somewhere else? No. Start x, start y, end x, end y. We haven't even used in frame yet. Hmm. Okay, so that still displays. Maybe just type out one of these. Oh, psh. Speaking of typos, Datasource doesn't complain about that missing. And X. I almost think it should have complained about that. No, so let's pull these back out. And I guess we know we're going to need to pull these back out. I do need the padding values because those end up being the lower bounds that we, or the overage bounds we check for the other side of it. You're padding up. Did I remove that from down here? Yeah, move that over. You had a few extra things. And then we also used that as this filter function shows up for everything. Tile bounds dot. Oh, is frame. I was thinking maybe is in frame. Okay, now how much of this? Actually, the padding. What was key? Log. That's in frame. Search. That's just the is in frame. Maybe I could do the basic conversions and the rest first. Oop. Oh, I deleted the line it was on. This is still generation tile size. That's all of that pre-calculated stuff. So this affects. Right, and our times are wrong to run this. And then we're at a point where this didn't exist yet. Is it like rounding my timestamps? That's like all the way back. I thought there was a 1 in there somewhere. Maybe it doesn't register the manual typing as a URL change? Eight 319. Throws off that flow a little bit. Oh, and I have to do more animation checks. Well, should mostly be code checks at this point. And then the search. It's like a big block of code, but we're doing a bunch of loops here, so I want those local variable references. You are getting your, this is from options, not from generation here. And then this was following the other one, which had these things down. We still got our search. All right, that compresses out some of, or co-locates some of the code. So tile bounds has a bunch of stuff here. So I could either have tile bounds take the data time. And what about, no, that's about, also delete that log. Ended up on that line. Mark log. Yeah, I don't think it references time here. So it'd only be needed for what? T is derivative of data time here. Let's turn this into a generic thing. Well, I don't always need a key, is the problem. I could do another pass. To pull all of those checks in. Well, I could do 2 filters. It's kind of a shame to do 2 loops. Because it's going to have to, for a filter, it's going to have to build an intermediate array every time. Unless there's some fancy optimization going on there. So either the entire thing takes a data time that's only used by one thing, or we do like a double closure where that one thing can take a data time that then gets run over the entire loop. Actually, this is fixed placements. This is not necessarily going to be a large list. Also, this code isn't repeated. The main reason I wanted to pull it out was that I might need to, let's see, start and end. I need start there. I might be able to skip importing end. We use start a bunch. So So really all that would save me is importing the end variables. And that's for natural object generation, which I think only happens here as well. Conceptually, it'd be nice to locate some of this stuff. Oh, actually, some of these might not need all the padding. So if we go to, this is key. You're doing the natural generation. If we go to log, yeah, you don't need those. You don't need those. Do you need end? You don't need end either. If we go to search, there's start. Don't need that. Don't need those. Don't need those. So that would make it the only place that needs that. And then we wouldn't even have to export things that we're not going to re-import. So it's really key that's doing all the fancy pants stuff. I'm almost wondering if I should like make a thing that has helper operations that like do, okay, here's special placements, here's natural objects. It would kind of just take over some of the tile key responsibilities. But that would leave that thing as kind of a high-level operation. So we wouldn't need to move around padding and bottom stuff. If we made that some sort of closure loop. Now I think there is a little bit of function call overhead for doing those style loops, so this is like technically more efficient. Maybe that's changed with some of the browser optimizations. I would need, yeah, the occupied status. This is a little bit of local context, so it wouldn't just be a completely independent closure. Maybe the exported variables could be something else, because this is like more like top to left in terms of how we're using it. And this is the only place we're using it. Well, what is top? Left is fine. Well, bottom is including the padding down. So in essence, we have that. I almost want to move this code back down since now it's the only place to use it because we put the rest of the padding stuff into the in-frame function. Oop. That start end. You're kind of back down where you were. This uses end because it uses it down here. I think just for general cleanliness, we kind of want to say... Oh, that's from negative to negative. So that would be this. So these actually are different. And then you can be from left to right and top to bottom. And left to right, top to bottom, which is no longer negative. What are the difference in here? This is kind of the local and let's see. There's some potential for renaming here. So these are like world coordinates. These are tile relative coordinates. And then we're turning them back into world coordinates here. First subtract it out, then add it back in. So these are like world coordinates. So one is start end, one is left, right, top, bottom. We could probably do something naming wise as far as what those are. Because start end, top, left, top, right doesn't really communicate that. Do we want to call it world? I don't know, min-max? World start end? And tile start end? Or tile top bottom, tile and world top bottom? So I guess the one nice thing about start is when I'm doing the coordinate offsets, that's a better signal that that is the one we're using as a corner. So this is the world. Naming is hard. Of course, if we start calling like world start X, it gets really long. Which is why we have these short, ambiguous names to begin with, I guess. World start X. Okay, that's all of the ones in here. Okay, so this is partly carried over from other code. Is part of why we have that. That's from a create tile, which is this, yeah, very, very similar code. Maybe I could use some of this tile-bound stuff elsewhere. It might be the natural object generation code, actually. I probably copied that into here from there. There's tile bounds. And did that? No, it did not loop back up. Euro tile bounds. Oops. Euro tile bounds. That's another create tile. And we loop back up. Oh, right, because why was the other way? Tile bounds. And you're gonna map, you're something else. Okay. Yep. Okay, did not get a good replace operation there. Oh no, that was end X. Calculate. Let's now destroy all the instances of it. World end X. The first instance, yeah, this is going to be when we're pulling out of tile bounds. Oops, that is one. What about you? I just did one that I didn't want to do. I think. Yeah, you're a create tile. You're a create tile. Tile bounds. Hey. Oh, this is a... Why am I pulling you out? Because of here. Wait, are you... You're a create tile. Right, because it's down here. You're a create tile. I guess these are used less than stars. That's why we're seeing fewer of them. All right, padding is only used internally to here. These shouldn't show up as much. But that would be a consistent naming convention. Oh, I didn't get single word on this. I'm going to grab that as a search term. I don't know if do these have parity? Because of the way coordinates go? Tile start less than. Top less than. I guess so. There's a different top bottom. Calculate tile bounds. Tile end Y. You're the other series of places we kind of copied that code from. Wait, undo, 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 undo is a wonderful thing. Or was that right? Yeah, your tile end X. Here's something else. Tile bounds. You're something different. You're something different. And that's the stuff that only really got used in one spot. I didn't check this as often. All that seems to be holding up. All right, so in tile key, we grab this stuff. We have multiple steps. All of which are sharing data by way of occupied. I guess if it were possible to pull them out, I could pass that in. I could have like generate special placements, generate natural objects. But I think for the most part, we've pulled out the like really redundant stuff. This ends up being very similar. We're sometimes doing different things with keys and times. And we also adjusted the cache. Oh, I thought I committed the point size change. Did I accidentally add another file to the last one? Nope, I just... It just didn't take for some reason. Well, that last commit was completely pointless. Just object point size. Cache parses logs. Restructure tile bound calculations. And there are other potentials we might actually be able to use that, but I don't know. There were some other places using very similar code. Oh, that was supposed to be the M. I was thinking, oh yeah, we're not taking modified files. And this was actually, as far as that's going to go. All right. There's a little bit of a question of how we display timed logs. It might only be useful from like a more of a browsing perspective. So what did we do with that? I don't need this right now. And what did we do with the first one? We created key search point overlay. I don't know exactly. I, for some reason, remember that we got a Tandy 1000 circa 1985. I would be around 10. Some years after that, I started playing around with the game listings in magazines. Or no, a Tandy 1000, not a TI-85. I think 85 is a calculator. Oh. Or no, we got Tandy 1000 in 1985. I don't think I ever played with Deskmate. I do remember we went to Radio Shack a lot. Yeah, and back then the computer magazines would have basic listings in them, which were often games. So you could kind of type that in, try and figure out the bugs, and then maybe modify it a little bit. Is that the UI? Yeah, it does sound kind of familiar. But Deskmate was like the GUI thing that you could optionally use, wasn't it? Because I know we did some DOS stuff, and then that was like GW Basic, which had like a command line interface. I don't remember doing a lot in Deskmate. It was kind of there. Yeah, it was kind of that level, but with text graphics, if I recall. Okay, so we have a key search point, which is a create tile, and we rely on the drawing. So this is probably going to be a mashup between this and... Oh, well, yeah, these things get... Well, before I was doing point in time, this might not necessarily be a point in time view. Yeah. This is like, where was this thing? And then you can play around with time view when you're closer. Although, let's see, so this one, the static view we use when we're zoomed out. And then we switch to the other view when we're zoomed in because we've already got all that data. We have to use, we're gonna have to use this at all ranges because these objects are not at all zoom levels. That was, well, it started with GW Basic. I don't remember if Quick Basic might have been the next computer. And then at some point I wanted to go faster, so I started doing some C, but once again, that may have been yet the next computer. I know we had a 386. I don't remember if we had a 286. When I went to college, I got a Pentium. But that's where the disk caching software messed up with a bug and started destroying my file system, so I kind of stopped for a while. Those are programming things, yes. So this is kind of the question of what do we want this to do? You want to know everywhere it's been, we show all of the points. And then you have to kind of scrub through time to find out where they were. Maybe that's where some additional UI comes in to like, you might be one of like you focus on something and you jump around to it. Maybe it's not even a just show all the dots kind of thing. This is more like a show one dot kind of thing. So if we are out here and we look at time, what should happen? Right now, this is all point in time. Maybe it should function like lives, where we just pick a time value that it acts like a ping for it appeared at this time. At which point we might need some kind of animated version of the layer. But that would say that it would be, well, that's actually going to be a different type of draw, isn't it? That might be able to draw with a time variable. So I guess the first thing to do is get a version of this that just loads that format of data. Which, did I even include time in there? It is a different data set. Probably should use different extensions for the formats. So this did have an extra output, not activity map. Oh, this is not on its branch. Map. I don't think I've needed you yet. What was I doing with these? So that was, I know what I did with that. I don't think we care about those. Get output object search index was, yeah, that was using a T format. Okay. So log value yxt. Ooh. This is probably a typo in the name. And in fact, this is a brand new name, so yes. So this is currently only used there. Did I end up reusing this? I did. All right, so what does a map log cache is currently actually much simpler. Great, and there's the point overlay. This is where I'm probably going to have to be cross-correlating things again. We're just searching for you. There's the search data, which we had placed after the key placement stuff. And we went into there, and then map log. And went into the, okay, arc map logs, that's the other search, which we did the sparse tile layer for. Create arc activity, and that's the, yeah, that's for activity map. So this might be the rough corollary of where we're doing this stuff. Now, you had an index, you had this more complicated structure. Oh, this file does have its own index type, though. It's just a different type of index. Key placement, and key search point. Maybe I need to kind of build these up and just get them to construct. Hey. Alnatek? I'm always terrible at pronouncing things. It's going okay. The server I was supposed to be making tests for wasn't running today. If it's not running tomorrow, I think I'd have an alternate project I can go on to. So I figured I'd make a little project, or try to make a little bit of progress here. Maybe after dinner I'll come back and do some lives. So far I've only done refactoring. Oh, interesting. Oh, I have this. Oh, no, I do have it locked. I just didn't switch the view to show it. I'm working on having long distance search for primarily for rare objects, but I mean, if you want to be silly, oh, no, that's lives, not wrong one. You can be silly. The large points do run into some boundary cutoffs, but that's a rendering artifact. Now, this search index will not include some objects. All right, so we should have code to do that. Getting it to construct will be one step. Getting it to execute will be another. So actually, what we kind of did before, actually, is I think we worked from something like this. In log. Which this is an object doesn't exist yet. That's an object doesn't exist yet. Map log. The point overlay, we had a data time that did need a base. This does not need a base, I hope. That needed a map time because it only displayed the at the moment. So I guess if we're doing something, if we end up doing something animated, we'll need the base. We'll need the time. So maybe I should need to be starting from this. Ah. You won't need a base time. Because you're not going to be total image. You're going to be more of an event. So we're calling this arc. I was calling it map log there. Point. And you're not going to have base. MS isn't related to base. All right, so we won't be able to use the time field. So actually, I guess the only difference with this was that we had the time field. Okay, so you did get start and end and map time. Ow. Yeah, I haven't really tried to do any game capture on older games, so I don't really have a whole lot of experience to offer there. Although maybe it's something like Twitch Studio capturing 1 Hour 1 Life, because oh my god, that's terrible. Okay, so we had key search point. The call is going to be a little bit more like that, maybe. Oh, how was I doing this? All this collection of layers is something I think I need to work on. So placement point. Oh, yeah, map log point. We were calling this map log search point. Don't need a base time. These will end up, okay, so key placement point, map log point are alternates of each other. Am I doing those in pairs? Oh, no, it's that's key placement point, map log point. So this would be map log. Oh, oh no, that's alternate and alternate and static. So that's this pair. That suggests maybe I need to do these differently. So that pair, map log, key placement point, key search point, map log point, key search point. Map log search point. Okay, then that's a copy of this. Map log search point, alternate static, key search point. End is not defined. 3933. That's probably happens in the, oh yeah, create arc map log search point overlay. Create arc. No, that's not. Create arc map log search point overlay. Create arc map log search point overlay. We lost an end. End, because I copied something else. The code that's more like this is second end. That's not going to be terribly useful, but all right, so we have a construction function. Okay, that's going to affect timed data. The time won't necessarily get in the way of this layer. That means we might want to do data first. So we're going to have a structure like this. So we're using this top level object. I guess I could well, this is going to construct it. It won't make any calls to it. I think that this is, and what did I call this? These were log, of course. That's the same code. Constructing it shouldn't be a problem. This is going to be the same as maplog cache-ish. Don't need data zoom, though. Dinosaur! How's it poppin'? Don't need that. That will probably construct. I'm not running any data through it yet. Yeah, if you hang around in the mornings, you might have seen me raid Tyrannosaur to work on. He's working on his little web game. Okay, log on file. Okay, cool. Let's see. So data cache. All right. So index, and then indexed of that. That might still work. Yeah, it's an unusual time for me. My regular work stuff had a server not working. Didn't really feel like getting into the alternate project just yet. But I'll have to do that tomorrow if it's still not available. I'm not completely sure that one will work with this data, but we'll find out. Oh, the code. Yeah, this is... There are times I've done some of this stuff under the OneLife tag, but this is not really user-facing right now. This is all deep down code. The point of what we're doing is that right now, object searches are limited to where it would otherwise be visible. Upcoming, you will be able to do this at any scale. For objects that are not too numerous. I only have a small sample data set right now, so we cannot, for instance, go search for the Apocalypse Towers. Although I think there actually was one here. What is the name? Is it just? No, that's the Apocalypse. Is it a kind of tower? End tower, yes. And what do you know? There's one out there. Somebody drove a truck out and set one up. This is a... Yeah, so it started with, let's just open up the regular one just so I keep my timestamp. And actually, the seed still hasn't published. It's still cached. So we're still seeing the old seed. We might be seeing some... I'll have to see if I would need to adjust times in the seed file. Actually, we still got a monument here. So unless somebody got a monument up, this is probably still old stuff. Yeah, this is still old stuff. Yeah, so today's processing has not published yet. Let me look at some caching stuff. Anyway, it started with just this biome map. And then it got changed so that the seed was not predictable. But as part of that, it'd probably be easier to see without that, the developer started publishing map log data, which lets you kind of track everything that goes on. Let's see, so we're at the end right now. Up to and including, well, actually, this town didn't exist. Replaying everything. Which actually ends up to be processing a lot of data. So it's been an interesting project from that perspective. A lot of the map stuff is a library called Leaflet.js. I've had to do some custom drawn layers for it. And then all of this UI is in Elm. I guess probably, so we did a little bit of stuff with the objects, although we didn't searching for many of them. The other big piece is looking up where lives are, which, if this does, this probably jumped us to, yeah, today. Which we're starting to flow back over these old sites, which have not been noticed as missing yet, because of the seed publishing. This is actually yesterday's lives, and we can go up and replay those as well. Oop. Oh, okay. Let's see, is that Nestor Am? That's... Am was Ginger? So in theory, I was here last night. Mm-hmm. It's pretty fascinating. Yeah, and I mean, this is only since the map data. What was it? Colin. So Eve Colin was like one of the only marginally successful Eves I've done. That was way back when we didn't really have a whole lot. Actually, I guess activity maps... No, we didn't have map logs back then. So that would not be available. When what? Oh, I forgot what date that was, though. The server often has to wake up. Yeah, there were actually a couple of them back there. I forget which one was mine. Yeah, so this contrast is terrible. Let's see, Eve was... See, I already lost it. Oh, that's what this is for. Yes, actually, I think this was me, because I landed in the middle of an Arctic. I don't know if I saw that one. But this color is actually still terrible. Maybe... Yeah, that actually works out a little bit better. Although, where'd my Eve go? Oh, nope, it's in the blur. And this doesn't perform well at scale. Which is why I often turned it off. Oh no, right. I'm still on death location from the other thing. Okay. Yeah, so I moved over here. There was... So it was over there. There was a spot with a little bit of desert and a little bit of water. I expected people to move down into the swamp area. And then some people went over and lived in the jungle for a while after the fact. But yeah, there's no like buildings or anything here. Actually, what I can do, since there's a seed, and I usually have this off because it's so performance intensive, we can fill in the natural objects. So this is really all we know. We could hypothesize that maybe there was a wall built here or something, but it's hard to say. All right. So I was trying to make sense of this stuff. And then this is where... Would this object still work? This, I think, did some data processing. I could copy a non-existent T. I might want to sort by time, though. This is showing... Maybe we need a different kind of variability here. So tile log. Yeah, that was tile key. This is... I need better naming conventions. So this originally got... Because it needed the base layer. This does not need a base layer. So that's fine. That got separate data because it was the base, which we don't need. We don't need to do the two-step thing there. It might just be that we have XYT. And we want to sort by time. I guess, Yeah, actually, do I need to even sort these by type and draw order? These aren't going to be drawn. So no. No, you just get removed. Wait a minute, where am I? That's log search. Actually, this does get the sort by time. The other one doesn't need to sort at all. Maybe that'd be worth including in one. Because it's just a lot of duplication. There's map log search. Tile search is that. Map log search. Oh, wait. Key search key. What's the... Naming is hard. What even are you? Maybe just map log search. All right, so now we have something we can stick in here. It might not work very well. Okay, well, actually, that's going to have to go into here. Didn't crash. Let's see, we probably created it. Yeah, did we? Well, it's not a separate object, so it's hard to say if we drew it. We can see if log search ever got called. Let's try and do processing, which I don't even have the start end things for. Okay, that is not being called. So that means our layer switching isn't. Oh, there's actually, I skipped some steps. No. What was it? Key search point. Map span key search points. There are some extra things. Redraw when options change. Which might be, in fact, be part of what that is. There is highlight options, which is a highlight layer. Oh, and we have to add, we've never added it. Although, why was it still visible if it were not data animated? That's a question. So you should never get added. Okay, never gets added. Why is data animated not following? Is this a global thing? Yeah, this is a global thing. Which one to start with? So it's doing that. I guess if I take this out. Okay, no sign that's beside being added. Changing time mode doesn't seem to be triggering this to get called. But this is the thing that does all the layer switches. Maybe I have this queued in so because it's like, oh, we don't have anything to switch here. I need this back. Yeah, nope. It's like you see the layers flashing. Maybe we're escaping out before that for some reason? No, we're not calling base layer by time. Maybe I have something that switches the animated layers? Alternate. Toggle animated. Anim overlay. Oh, there's probably a different overlay for this. So I was never switching those? Is this like object point overlay? No, that's that. Key placement point. Well, no, actually, base layer by time. Object overlay layers. Object overlay. Toggle animated. You also need to be in this. So I guess technically that never worked. Right? This is doing base layer. This is doing it directly. Or should be. Oh. We ran some code. Correct, because I probably copied the zoom parameters from the other one. T is not defined. Circa 2181. Oh, this raw.t. Hey, we fetched some data tiles. Base layer by time. And this is like before we do any cast checks. And it seems to be drawing the static. Oh, and there's all the extra points. I'm not going to animate in any way, but it shows all the places that trucks have been. I see some of these are probably like super dense. Oop. Oh, and we switched to the other view, which was actually point in time. So that, yeah, this has to be somehow point in time, I think. It's going to be like a thing appeared here. Which I think for the life points, we just kind of did, if there's a time field, then we do things a little differently, which will complicate it, but it also will reuse the drawing. But that's at least potentially useful. Nope, that's the other one. The other thing we forgot to mark off there, we have some data loaded. I think the Elm stuff is all just kind of set up. Well, we added the toggle for activity map. All right, so right now we have a point overlay. Well, log search is this. We make a key search point. So you create tile. Actually, the get tile was a compatible call. I should almost be taking this out somewhere else. So that might not need to be different. And you were using object point overlay. Did I call this life point overlay? Maybe. Okay, pane. Oh, you got predefined with alternates. Color, location, theme. Nothing there about time. Nothing in create about time. We might need an update tiles. Select points is a specific thing for you. Yeah, we don't have an update tiles, and you're not based on any of our other layers. Set options, time, draw tile. Oh, you have time as an argument to that to do for the immediate update. Well, that'll just be an extra argument for now. Or does that have a done on it? You do have a done on you. But we didn't have asynchrony in our other things. We didn't have to worry about that. Is that part of the leaflet signature? This was based on grid layer. Actually, no, create tile might be the thing, not draw tile. This is a kind of a custom drawn tile. So I have to do that. Yeah, that's not a leaflet method. I can have whatever signature I want, but we do have a done on there. Which right now is the only way we call it. So I guess time would be the most optional argument. We don't care about, oh. This one doesn't care about done, though. One doesn't care about time, one doesn't care about done. Draw tile coords. You didn't have to deal with done. Actually, does the draw itself have anything asynchronous? No, it doesn't. Yeah, I'm almost surprised you're here, Rainey. Or are you just kind of lurking while you work away? Or are you kind of waiting for the storm? I'm working and lurking, okay. No, that's that. These things can call done or oh, thank you for following. I almost want to read that as like Hidden Andy. Hello. Maddie, okay. And you just want to name people Princess? Is that it? I am building upon some code I wrote a while ago, which needs rewriting in a few places. To enable a higher zoom search of objects on a game map of 1 hour, 1 life. So I need to process all of the data to display this. Specifically, what I'm doing is we have like the final snapshot of where this object was, and we have all of the places it was during a span of time, which communicating that is going to be another problem. This might end up just being kind of like recent points like we do with life replay. We won't know how long it was there, but hey, it was here at some point. So right now I'm using my static image to view the time data, so it's just kind of this blur of all the things. So I need to introduce a time element into... I think I'm going to try using a time argument to my existing drawing and hope it doesn't get too hairy. So I'm looking at how all this code works and seeing how do we add that function, that argument to the function. So you're passing done. This part is JavaScript because it's using Leaflet, and I think it might be performance intensive. Maybe someday I'll try rewriting some stuff in Elm, which is what's handling all of the other UI. But that's a immutable functional language, so I don't know if it's really going to be able to handle some of this stuff well. Okay. Well, yeah, if you... I'm kind of cruising along, doing my own thing. If there's any particular questions, let me know. I'm not super good about explaining everything as I go. All right, so I think actually we did not end up having to make a separate one of these. There's only going to be one invocation of this. No. This is... Oh, there was a map log point. But you did the two type thing. You do the tile at, and the tile at does the draw? With no done function. I started programming yesterday. Ah, okay. Well, yeah. This might be a little bit hairy for you. So that just didn't even deal with the done. So there's key placement point, there's map log point, and there's key search point is our more recent one. But I don't think anything asynchronous happens in draw. So we could just say done. Oh, I might need to pass an argument to this. Ah, okay. So you want a no error and our tile. And I don't need to call it here. It's a different thing. Okay, so I was probably copying from this. Yeah, that little script doesn't work here. This is the object point overlay. So key placement point. Does it with a done. If done. No, it says if that argument was passed. Because there were some places where I called this without that argument, in which case the function, the closure done, will itself be null. So if we were past a closure, which I have not actually changed it to take this argument yet, or which is actually going to come from Leaflet when it creates tile, it says, okay, if you have to do anything asynchronous, call me back here when you're done. Coincidentally enough, this is very often a error argument, exception or string most often, and then this is the tile we ended up creating, which this also has access to. But the draw operation itself here is not doing anything asynchronous, so I think I'm just going to take that out of the signature, so I don't have to worry about it. Okay, so that's tile at. That's also called that's tile at and done. And tile at was doing draw without the done argument. Okay, we fixed you, and we're back to the top. So I think that's all of them. We had this here. We were changing this argument over to time. So done. Don't need to worry about you. We can just return this. Yeah, past tile. So we shouldn't need to worry about returning it. Computer science, okay. How to change the colors. Computer science. So is this like more like computer usage, or are you scripting it? Ah, yes. I ended up doing mostly Ruby myself, as far as that sort of corner of the programming space goes. Oh. Okay, I believe that is the minimum age. I know many places on Twitch just say, just don't talk about your age, period. That's particularly because if somebody was underage, then it's awkward for everybody. But you might see that in moderation guidelines in other channels. So that's the draw. We would also do that at the end, yes. The draw? Yeah, this we're not returning this anywhere, I don't think. Oh, that did it. For completeness. All right, so this can become time. Let's see if that broke anything. Okay, so there's the static view. There's the time view. Yes, this declares a variable. And I tend to go for both a style that I'm more familiar with, which is older, and which will then be more compatible, even though I'm using some newer like browser features in a few places. If you're looking at more modern JavaScript, there's actually a lot of things that change. Var is scoped to like the function it's in, no matter where it's declared. Newer visions of JavaScript, which depending on what compatibility level you want, might involve some transpilation to make it into this for the older browsers. Part of it is I don't want the transpilation step. Have a let, which is block scoped, and a const, which is block scoped and cannot be changed. Among many other things that are different. And if you're looking at their JavaScript, you might see those. All right. No, this is not a web game. It is a web map of a online game. Which the game itself is programmed in C++. The developer publishes a lot of data that I've been able to use, and I have re-implemented many of the map generation routines in JavaScript in order to be able to do that without storing tons of data. The first version of the map was, in fact, a bunch of captured images. Ah. Yeah, I think JavaScript is often like lumped in with HTML5. Although it also involves, like some of the section elements and things from the markup language itself. All right, so life point overlay. So you want the object, the class, is kind of what we're modeling this on. So you have a data set. Yeah, you can cover some animation needs, just CSS transitions and stuff. Okay, so this updates it so that if we have time and options instead of in an argument. Okay, if time. I am programming a web map of an online game. It's 1 hour, 1 life. So if we zoom in a bit, you can get a sense of what the actual game maps look like. You're normally viewing it at about this level, which I have a very small window right now, but many people do in fact consider this cramped and use mod clients that zoom out more. And what I'm working on right now is the developer publishes a bunch of data, which is how we make these maps. One of the things I'm working on is the ability to search for, I don't know, objects. Actually, my other object is that. Yeah, some of those are shovels. I've got something else on here, which since this is the history view right now, it's very. Actually, this would probably make it a lot saner, just in general. No, that's character search. Oh, at unchecked shovel. Yeah. Working on this large scale version of the search to be able to find. Whoops. Went too crazy with the zoom. That might actually be a bug. Oh, nope, there it is. It's not showing. It's not showing the point, which I might have to go in and fix. Oh, actually, you know what? I said I didn't break anything. Maybe I did break something. Oh, yeah, in fact, we have errors down here. Nil is not defined. Well, that should hopefully be an easy one to fix. Okay, that's working better. It wasn't about computer usage. It had a whole part about Excel and how it works. I've sometimes used Excel to manage CSVs and stuff. Have we never seen or heard before? Well, I mean, some people haven't. Nothing about the Python. Okay. All right, clear that. It's going to be very noisy right now. Need to make sure I can see you. Oh, I must have to get more water then. I was trying to get by without it. But I actually was getting thirsty, thank you. All right, so we have a definite death time here. We're going to have to use something like the default, which is just the time plus some fade out. If it's out of range, we get the percent we want to use, and a fade effect might be nice here. Point translation. I think that's the age. That's the age modifier for coloration, especially for eaves. This has a bunch of color options, which makes it more complicated. And an extra ring for eaves. So that's that's the different point shapes. We got the ring. We got the color set. Setting age to use in that. So we already have something that draws. Let's create tile. Object. Point overlay. So yes, you. No, you're still derivative. You are the thing that's doing the actual drawing. So color is always this. We might want to make it fade. We've been using a constant alpha. So yeah, so that will be that fade or either that or fading out, depending. Which context global alpha equals A. That's kind of what this is doing. So end time is always going to be the plus fade time. I guess we use that other time multiple points. Oh, was I Yes, my data on this type of layer was pre-cutting to the tile. This does a thing where it just filters the data as it draws it. So it's going to be something like that. This is per point. Do we use any pre-calculated values? It's kind of the pre-calculation, I guess, before we get into the drawing stuff. This isn't a death time. This is like a out time. This is going to be just T, and this is a placement, not a point right now. Plus fade time, which may be that. You know, it's just a constant here. And kind of a constant, but a thing we define so we can easily change it. Placement.t and out time, current time. Well, it's not a game. It's a map of a game. I forget when the map started. So this is the front end for it. 2019 May. So not yet a year. Let's see, placement.t, placement.t, placement.t. Maybe we should just do, for consistency here, I guess this is going to be if time and in time. We didn't really check for that. Did this use death time out of that bit? This is a completely separate, yeah, this is a completely separate point check. So no, it doesn't need it there. Registering game capture or desktop capture at all for 1 life. It's like, I haven't had that problem. Let's see. So, well, that's awkward because I think I've got mine in full screen mode. Maybe I can take it out of that. Well, no, it will go over. Except that's in a screen capture layout. If we go to this, yeah, then, well, I forget if I've left in here. Which is under that. So I'm capturing my mod. So I do capture specific window. I guess it's possible that there's something about this doesn't work with some of the other options. I just like to do this so that most of the time I'm only capturing that one window. I don't have to worry about like focusing on it or anything. And I really, whenever I do these, I just say capture specific window and then pick the executable. And I don't tend to mess with any other options, and it's just worked for pretty much everything I've done. Here's another thing. Watch your ordering. If you have a full screen thing, it can end up above your other layers. Like, so that has to be. Make sure there's nothing full screening above your game. Although I guess if it's not, you say it's not capturing, the capture window had the preview, so you ought to at least be seeing it there if you're getting the capture, and then you've got the scene ordering thing. In time, out time. We are in a function where we can return if it's not currently visible. Context global alpha, that replaces this. We were assigning a T. The T was for the ring effect, which we don't necessarily have here. And the same exact thing you did, and it's completely black. Do you have a setup with multiple video GPUs, maybe? It's like somehow hooked into the wrong one? I mean, if it's monitor capture, you'd say which monitor capture. I've never tried to put a game on my off monitor. Yeah, well, there's monitor capture and there's game capture. I usually try to capture the specific windows so that I don't end up throwing something up on screen that I don't want. I mean, programming it can't really be helped, but you just take appropriate cautions. Yeah, then that might be an issue with like your display drivers or something if it can't do monitor capture. Okay. Well, yeah, but OBS is going to be doing it differently. I mean, I guess there's the old thing about make sure your video drivers are up to date. I see that in a lot of game support scenarios. But yeah, that's a tough one. Well, I have an NVIDIA card. I go to NVIDIA and look for driver updates. Since they required login, I decided not to use the update task tray thing. So I do tend to update infrequently. But by default, they would install a thing that would, pop up and say, hey, update your driver very often. But yeah, if it's not capturing the game and it's not capturing monitors, you might have to like go into like the OBS Discord support channel or something and see if people more knowledgeable about capture problems can help you. Because everything's just kind of worked for me. Oh, this is another thing we don't have currently. Where'd the browser go? Oh, not yet. This is a modification of our existing layer. Yep, and we've got bugs. Object counts. Oh, maybe I wasn't really hitting this. Oh, no, you should have an index. Maybe I forgot to output it. Maybe I typoed it. Did I? Oh, maybe I. No, I've got the data, so I copied this over. Let's see. So this is my little mini one. I thought I copied this. Of course, here's the needle in the haystack problem. This data set's getting older and older. This is like 8.3. Yeah. You've got a document, and we weren't having trouble with it before. And that, was I not watching this before? Oh no, wait, that's... Oh, I've moved the timestamp, which changed this timestamp. Okay, so that one worked. So it looks like, this is not maybe not popping up in a proper time position here. Oh, we're at the end of a period and it wants to go forward. So I almost want to go back one. One 16082 33085. Well, oh no, we're jumping up at, yeah, no. My range is not being set in a useful way. That's, I don't know if I want to go do that right now, although I might have to make this work. I guess this is actually not server work anymore, but it's related to that. I mean, this is kind of a bug fix, but animation view, animation range when going to times to all right, so what is, so if we can set this to a, I forgot how this works. What is the time range we're looking at? Yeah, I'd have to look up exactly. I would have to look what time range is. And that might be a little bit weird because we're in time mode. That's 12:17. That's after. Well, now it's not going to work. So I almost do want to look up the start timestamp for the way this is going to work. Two 33085. That might not update you. So 12:16, 13:24, probably going to be about the same time the next day. So if we bump that, oop. Once again, not found. So it should probably at least respond better to that. Then function object data. If object counts, so we didn't really check for object counts. So that is the index for all this. How do we just say, yeah, nothing. What's the browser API promise? And this is one of those newer features that I sometimes wonder if I should be using. Static methods. It is rejected with the given reason. That only allows us to bump ourselves out. Oop. Okay, so it ends up being an exception, effectively. We still get the not found, and we were at a bad timestamp, but this was like 12:16. Two three three 084. Okay, we're in bounds. Probably can't go a full day out of this. So this was like an 8.3. Okay, inbounds, we should have a little bit. Okay, maybe let's take 12. No, actually, it must be 12:17 to 12:18. So we're gonna have about 1 day of data. Oh, this is going back way too far. Am I in like this? This is the server span. So our valid period is very small here. Maybe if I do a search with this. I'm not sure if this updates properly. Maybe because it was open. Yeah, so 12:19 is going to be a bad time. Well, this flushes out some of the rough spots here. So a period for that. I'd swear that used to work. Oh no, that means didn't they start the server for this? Database system. Maybe I didn't. Map, family trees, database system, map, compiler. Oh, I forgot to start the web server. Not half of it. Oh. Right. Bundler is very picky, even though this doesn't affect anything it's doing. Okay, so there's the lives, but that should have set time range. And we obviously still have some work to do here. Let's see, so we were seeing some attempts to fetch the data. We've seen, right? Yeah, ls. Oh, no, this is this stuff again. So we think it's getting data. Yeah. This reject is also making it almost making this worse. Probably it means we're not doing a... We're not really doing an error catch anywhere in this. Dot then... What would be the ultimate user review? I mean, all we're going to do is catch this error, but... oh, no, actually, we can just return data at some point in these. And it's fine. It'll just chain off of promises. And we are at a bad timestamp. Yeah, we're at 12:16. I might have to hit that every time to set the range, which... Well, so the default is the server range for the arc, effectively. Which is like, it's just bad for this because we're missing data. Okay, so this does use the timestamp a little bit. Yeah, so... Where are we failing here? Okay, well, yeah, I expect you to be undefined, and that has a time. If this is defined, that should be defined. Doing detailed stuff in here is spammy. Maybe this one won't be too bad. Okay, those all have times. Okay, they're all out of range. Does this need to be higher resolution? Maybe in my other processing of the other points, I changed the timescale. Well, if the timescale is completely off, then that would mess you up pretty bad. Oh, we're in the wrong time now. That doesn't even go far enough. Oh, we're in time view. Oh. Oh, that isn't set. I thought the search would do it. Okay, yep. I didn't hit search. That's life data. So this, doing these should tell us where, if we have the wrong unit. So originally it was this. Okay, so yes, this looks like the wrong unit. So where was I doing that? Update tiles. Somewhere in my data processing for the other stuff, we should be doing that. Or I output the timestamps incorrectly in the data processing step, forgetting that I had divided them down in the other processes, which is looking increasingly like the case. If that was the case, that would be log value yxt, perhaps. No, not tile log. Log value yxt. Yeah, actually, that's something I would have done just to cut down on detail. So that means I processed the data incorrectly. I guess we could quick fix it just to prove that. So we're doing the decode. We're doing log search, ended up doing this. Yep, I forgot to search. Oh, we're still in time view. That tells me when we're in data range. Okay, so that's not itself enough to fix it, but these are at least somewhat more reasonable numbers. 160825, 1603, that's... Right, this is... Wait. Object point overlay. Oh, we did time in time. Really, we're looking for a thing to be between those two. And this is where we could do much longer time periods to make it easier to hit. One 6 8 2 8 2 3 3 8 2 3 6. That's nothing. Placement.t. So here's, well, oh wait, why did we moved that in? But why was it in time? Oh, because we're doing this off death time. This is the only thing we do here. What do I get for copying code? Assignment to undeclared variable t. Right, because this was something we were possibly carrying through for other purposes before. And what was... the default value... capital life, please. Default value is t equals 1, which is also what we do in that, but I took it out because we didn't have that thing. But this we at least need for the intermediate calculation. Which I guess if it's just an intermediate calculation, we can do this. Hey! They're like visible for like way too long now. Yeah, that's not actually differentiating them at all, which makes me think there's still something a little bit wrong. Actually, there's still a bunch of outer ranges. Oh, I don't have this set up to be an animated layer. Oh, what's the... oh, maybe it's even tile at that triggers that. What's the message for you? Current time, set map time. Oh. We just have an explicit thing for every... this might be under arc update tiles. Well, that just does whole base. Life anim overlay. Wait, so how did the close-in version work? Well, maybe the answer is it didn't. So we've gone and modified it for time view now, so... oh, is it now getting a... that should be a different layer. I'd swear I tried this and it worked. Back when we first did it. If map, base layer by time. Right, which might change layers. If monument overlay. Life anim overlay is the points that we're emulating. Does base layer by time do any kind of update stuff for that, or is it just picking them? Well, it's update tiles, right? If layer that update tiles. Yeah, so it's arc update tiles, and it's life anim overlay. So this technically didn't work before as well as it should have. Oh, but when I first did it, it was still in base layer, and then I separated things out to enable some toggling of stuff. So in terms of arc update tiles, probably we need to add some things to this function for all the things that we split out. So base layer by time, which this is another thing that could maybe use some refactoring. So we've got a whole base. We've got, that's the two sides of that. We've got object overlay and activity. Activity overlay is static snapshot, so that's not affected. So it really is just object overlay. So we'll call update tiles on the static one, and that one won't have a time? Well, that's the same thing life points would be doing, which called, no, that was life point anim overlay. So we'd be calling update time on the static layer. Does this only get called in animation mode? No, because this is a general set time. It could be called anytime we're updating. Hmm. Key placement point, map log point, key search point, which we have not had to vary yet. So probably you need to have some sort of, we could sort of do this internally by checking for alternates, but that seems not quite what those are for. We handled this before by explicitly updating the life point layer and just not updating the static layer. And then this one is going to depend on the instance a little bit. Key search point, arc map log, arc point overlay, search point overlay. Wait, did I do the wrong thing? Great arc search point overlay. That's still key. Log search overlay. You're getting a time field and you're getting true. That's not as recent as I thought. Object search, object point overlay. So we were using if time. Oop. Animate. Oh, right. Options, which for something we're going to have to end up checking. I guess we could wash it out if it's not animated. I don't know if you can you delete a local variable like that? Yep. Oh, but we still referenced it down here. Nope. Want that one. Hey. Oh. It happens in bursts. Are we still using extended time on this? No, we're not using extended time on this. Yeah, I don't think I really did anything terribly different there. Oh, maybe my other... Let's see, my other Ekbug animated layer. That's not going to be event-based. That's going to be more of a static image. That wouldn't use this kind of animation either. I guess this is where the actual data was here. To get something a little bit easier to see moving around. Oh, and get in the right time. Actually, yeah, we're seeing both of them move around relative to their objects, so that's fine. I might want a shorter ping on these. I mean, that's basically a life's worth. Which is appropriate when doing lives. I mean, is 10 minutes appropriate? Is 30 minutes appropriate? If I did an animation more like the Eve ring, maybe? It just seemed like that was sticking around for a long time. Now, maybe part of that is we should have a different alpha function. For this versus a life. This is probably wanted to be like kind of fully there and then fading out at the end. So this was... Yeah, because it's a fade out. This is almost going to be like an inverse. Does this have anything to do with it? Or we want it to... not an inverse. We still want it to pop. We want a different kind of shape. Not quite that different a shape. Is it this different kind of shape? Yeah, maybe a positive curve. We could still do a longer time. Now that's kind of appropriate to ping. Actually, I should look up how I was doing my my rings, because that's going to kind of follow what that was doing. Ring. 10 times t to the negative 6 times t. Oh, because I was trying to create a thing that completely dropped off. Yeah, which popped and then fell off. The pop works for a ring. It doesn't really work for alpha. I mean, maybe you could like super saturate or something, but this is actually kind of giving us something. Well, you were doing a oh, this is the not. This is not doing the negative. So just, I guess probably a very similar effect. Oh, to the negative x. Isn't that special? Yeah. And then x was probably a lower than 0. But that gives us a very similar curve. The ring is maybe a little bit sharper. Another question, let's see, for our data range, that would probably be fine, or... I think I went a little bit steeper. That's pretty close to what we had there. You can kind of see them blinking in and out here. Now the size bit... I'm probably going to want some buffer space on these. Before, they were pretty close to the edge. As I'm making these larger, I might... And this is just... And these are just one data set. The other stuff probably got chopped off elsewhere. Oh, actually... Yeah. Log search. Oops. I was using tile bounds in frame, and I have no parameters for overage range. Well, I mean, we could have a base value for that, I guess. Nope, they didn't fall out, just got quiet for a little bit. That fell out of the data. That fell out of the data. I might need something to put together spans within some kind of limit, because this will completely break over over span boundaries. Da, 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 da. Family trees. That is a map. Well, actually, my data fetcher, well, it can fetch data, but it could not display across two spans. Oh, right. So long term, we don't necessarily want that. We really need to fix the data. Oh, I might have to... Well, no, I could throw away the temp changes if I need to change back to other things. All right, this should be a very trivial change to this. Where was I doing this transformation before? Is this a file format thing? Oh. Millisecond time, so it was divided by 10? And then if I was using this format to unencode it, it would come out at the wrong timestamp. But I was dividing by 1,000, it was working out. Oh, this was using difference timing. Well, that would still be using difference timing. And we're still using this data format. Logline.mstime. But I was copying code that was working with lifetimes. The search times might not need to be that detailed, but the difference timing will take care of most of the significant digits there. Well, I guess you'll have more change in the lower level digits there. For object placements layering, that could have mattered. So that's an interesting one. That doesn't, well, the divide by 10 there could be a problem. For millisecond data, we just didn't have that last digit of precision. So we'd kind of have to do like divide by 100, because the format's going to do divide by 10. So this like turns this into a display issue, not a. As much as you would like to. My other object data is millisecond precision. I mean, technically hundredths. If we change what t is, that could get confusing. Oh, so that's fine. Oh, but the time value we're putting in here is time divided by 1,000. Wait, is it? Update tile? Yeah. But it's... Draw tile is coming from you. You could decide what units you use. We're passing in that detail of value. We don't technically need a separate thing there. That changes our span, though. There's still that little thing that we're kind of wasting bytes because we don't really need that detail. Oop. 2182. Lost the comma. All right. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I got caught up in that. I want to eat dinner. And then I might only have time for like 1 or 2 lives. So I might be back. It's a little bit later than I wanted to start. Is dinner quick tonight? Dinner might be kind of quick tonight. Thanks for watching. In the meantime, what's going on? Morty's on. It sounded like they might be on a low pop server from what they were talking about. There's some game dev, but I think that one's just about over too. That's what I'm usually on, which is not now. And I don't necessarily have a whole lot of programming people at this time, because I'm not normally at this time. Oh. That's some more back-endy type stuff. Bye. Well, continuous deployment is a thing that I need to think about, I guess. So if we're someplace cool to hang out, that button. Stagecode's working on some continuous deployment and Docker stuff, which are some tools that I use here and there, but just wasn't what we're doing tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye, and until next time.